and been doing some great things.
Yes,
You know,
much appreciated. We've been doing a lot. Still doing more.
still doing more. Okay.
It do-
Okay. I'm just at the basics. I'm trying to set off and offset the bills and stuff, and then
okay, I'm gonna stop you. Have you done a UCC yet?
I did. I do have a UCC.
Okay, so
I do have one.
I'm gonna ask you this question. What's your race and ethnicity?
What's my race and ethnicity?
Correct.
Um, Native American.
See how you're hesitating? You don't know. Problem.
Right.
Number one problem. So I'm gonna assist.
Okay.
So I'm gonna assist you in this. Using
Okay.
all those commercial codes and whatnot is not the problem. The problem is your race and ethnicity on either the birth registration or employment document, social insurance, social security number. The problem is when they ask for race, like you have a doctor, right? What's your race down at your doctor's office? What do they have you down as?
I never put black. I'm putting Native American now.
No. I'm asking what they have, not what you put down.
Because, what they have, they probably have black.
Okay, now Barack Obama, black or African American, either or. Barack Obama said on the Tom Joyner Morning Show. If you're not familiar, I'm going to tell you it's back in 2012, October 16, 2012. The screenshot is actually on Facebook. It's been up there for years. When Tom Joyner introduced Barack Obama on his show and said it's our first black president of the United States, Barack responded by saying, "Tom, I do not look at myself as the first black president because the word black has no standing at law."
Okay.
Nobody can find the audio. He said that, and we know he said it because we got the screenshot that he said this.
Wow.
And then the person who posted it said, "Oh, the president's such a joker." I said, "No, he ain't joking. He told you all the truth. He grew up in Indonesia. He may have went to school in New York, Columbia, even though they said nobody can recall him in any of their classes. He grew up in Indonesia, which is a Muslim country, by the way."
Gotcha. Okay.
So, and his father was from Kenya, and I saw his grandmother talk about the hut he was born in Kenya. So that ain't subject to debate. Plus, I have Barack Obama's birth certificate, and I have his passport from World Service Authority in Washington, D.C. So the thing was, why is he getting a passport when he was running for president back in 2008? That meant he was an illegal alien and he didn't have a U.S. passport. That's why. So he went and got a World Service passport. So why am I saying all this? Because when you're doing commercial and everything is contract, it's all commerce. When you are doing those things of UCC, even United States Code or State Code or OCGA in Georgia, you got a problem because Dred Scott of 1857 has not been overturned. Hasn't been overturned.
Okay.
And what did it say? Dred Scott did not even have the right to sue in court because when the Constitution was written, it did not consider Negroes or former slaves as part of the Constitution.
Gotcha.
The Constitution is for white people. All the black attorneys that are lying, like Benjamin Crump and the NAACP, National Action Network, all of them are lying when they say that the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment is what overturned the Dred Scott decision. I said, give me the court case that was proven and used. Because what Trump just did 3-4 months ago, he got rid of civil rights, he got rid of human rights, and he got rid of what was the other one? Um Civil rights, human rights, and allowed for segregation at the job. This is what Trump just brought in. So it hasn't changed. They're going to honor the fact that the Dred Scott decision of 1857 has not been overturned. Now, they overturned Roe versus Wade, which was back from the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why would they overturn Roe versus Wade, stopping women from having abortions, and leaving Dred Scott on the books? Because it came out, if you don't know, that Amorite men, their sperm count is low. Amorites are not reproducing the way they used to. So they got a problem. In the next 5 years, they're going to be outnumbered. So when you hear these articles about the climate in the United States changing in terms of the demographics changing, and now white people are going to be a minority, quote unquote. Yeah, that's true.
Is that why he's sending everybody away?
Well, the thing is, it is that because you have the immigrants, because Amorites, when you got money like that, you think long term. You look at the bigger picture. So they're like, okay, in the next 10 to 15 years, you're going to have some Habibs, you're going to have some, some Mohammeds and whatnot in modern society, MSM, and they're saying that the U.S. is based off of being a Christian country, correct?
Right.
So that's going to be a problem now. And they just elected a Muslim mayor in New York. And they're talking about bringing in Sharia law, which is Islamic law, into the United States.
Did he elect him in New York?
Yeah, he just got elected.
Oh, wow.
So,
okay.
So the takeover is already happening. Say that again?
No. I didn't even know they elected him.
Yeah.
So the takeover is actually happening.
The takeover is happening. The first phase was, and that's the Democrat Party is responsible for that because they're connected to the World Economic Forum and the Illuminati and the Draco reptilians. So the first stage was letting in all the immigrants, and that started first with Barack Obama when he put out the order catch and release. So they would catch the illegal aliens in the U.S., detain them temporarily, but then release them.
Okay.
Then when Trump came in, he stopped that. Then he was building a wall. Then when Biden came in, he stopped that and said, let them come in, and then say, you got to get into the U.S. by such and such time. If you don't get into the U.S., once you get in, you'll get amnesty, you'll be able to stay. But after this date, you can't, which caused what? A rush of immigrants coming from South America, coming into Texas and California, etc. So now Trump gets back in the second time. Now he's doing the deporting. He's just grabbing people, sending them wherever. The Amorites realize they are outnumbered. So when Elon Musk is talking about paying women, was it $10 million or whatever it is to have his child, and then he's already said the child is going to potentially go to Mars. There's no guarantee the mother will go, but she's going to get paid handsomely for having the baby. Elon Musk has, I don't know what, 20 or 30 children or something like that already. Do you see what's going on? This ain't about money now. They're talking about survival. They said we need to have people that look like us in the future. How,
Mm-hmm.
however, that's not going to happen, especially with what's happening with the Earth changes, Nibiru coming into the solar system, and the sun, and the solar flares coming off the sun. So I say all that to give you a background. So now, nothing is wrong with the UCC or any of that. The problem is visually, they look at you, they're like, oh, this is a black man trying to use a commercial process that he has no right to use because of the Supreme Court decision of 1857 of the Dred Scott decision. Now, we told Byron Allen when he was suing Comcast, he lost an M, had to pay a $10 billion judgment, which nobody's talking about, not even black media.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Jordan was suing in China. He had like 88 active court cases going on. And what happened? He's only won like 2.
Wow.
And why is that? Because the word black has no standing at law. They don't have to listen to you. They don't have to consider your feelings. They don't have to honor anything you do, even if you sign the contract and you're being amendable. Because they're saying you weren't supposed to have this in the first place.
Right.
So all the black attorneys talking about the 13th, 14th, and 15th amendments to the Constitution overturned Dred Scott said, no, it didn't. Otherwise, Byron Allen would have won his case. Jordan would be winning his cases. A lot of those black men who were getting shot, and then Benjamin Crump would run in as he's the janitor. That's what Benjamin Crump is. He's a high-paced janitor. If you watch that movie Michael Clayton with George Clooney, that's what Benjamin Crump is, because most of those cases were settled out of court. He never went to trial.
Right.
So Benjamin Crump is not a trial lawyer. Benjamin Crump is a janitor. He's a fix-it man. They tell him, you go in there, tell the family, we're going to offer $2 million. Take the $2 million. The family will take the $2 million. They say, hey, you could go to court, but what if you go to court and the jury rules? Then you not only they lose the case, then they owe the attorney money. Let's say they can even afford the fees, they lose. Let's say they lose, and then the city wants to turn around, because I'm sure they scared them. If you lose, then the city will want to turn around and sue you guys.
Yeah, and I realize that the attorneys, the officers of the courts, they're not for you.
No,
they're not for you.
They're not. And they all know, even if the officer is black. I got a recording from a Chicago police officer. Because I had to call them because they had one of our members there, and I called to find out where they had him at the time. And they said, in conversation, as I'm talking to the officer over the phone, I said, well, black has no standing at law. She said, I know that's right. This is a police officer from Chicago admitting that. So all the black police officers ain't nothing but slave overseers. They all know this.
House Negro.
When you, and especially, there was a case a couple years back where some black probation officers were suing the department they worked at for toxic work environment, unsafe work environment, etc. And what happened was all 4 of them were in a car coming back from some kind of meeting or whatever, and they got pulled over by the same guys that work at the same department they work at. They may not have known them, but they got pulled over by them. And then they showed all their credentials. The officers didn't believe it, so then they had to call dispatch. Dispatch verified it. I think they still didn't want to believe it. Then they had to send a supervisor out there to validate, yes, these are officers. But because the black officers had a lawsuit against the department in the city, that was their way of intimidation. So when you look at UCC, state code, statutes, municipal, you can't use that. It is discretionary on part of the administrator whether they want to comply. There's no guarantee. And this is where a lot of people are seeing people say, oh, you can discharge, you can offset, you can this. No one's talking about, do you have the right to do that. They just assume, well, you're an American, you were born here. No, because Dred Scott said no descendant of Africans has any rights which a white man is bound to respect. Do you understand what they just said?
Uh-huh.
So if you know UCC and you start doing codes and offsetting and stuff and you're African American, what's your success rate? What do you think your chances of success of that working are?
Yeah, it's very small from what I could tell.
So therefore, before you can do that, you have to what? Change your race and ethnicity.
Correct.
So that becomes what? Mandatory. Because before you do, Yusuf L and the rest of these guys out here are not talking about that. So you have to change your race and ethnicity. If you don't do that, anything you do in commerce is voidable.
Wow.
It's voidable.
So that's the first thing. That's the first thing that you have to do. You have to change the ethnicity first before doing anything else.
Because if you do that, that's putting the cart before the horse. Then they come up in there, they're looking at the file. Okay, this guy's name, what's his race? Oh, African American? Oh, and he's trying to do a discharge? No, not granting that. No. And then you're trying to figure out, well, I gave him the codes, I had the evidence, I had everything. I said, yes, but the problem is you're African American on your contract. That makes you subject to the Dred Scott decision, the legal maxim that blacks are considered dead in the eyes of the law. That's called civilitas mortuus or civiliter mortuus. You don't exist. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So every time a person has black or African American on their contract, the other party, if they're not that, can look at that and they've already been given the code. This person is discretionary. They have no right to, but if you do have to, because the situation might be very egregious, it might be very barbaric and it'll be an embarrassment, give them a little just ice so we don't look bad.
A little bit. Okay.
So what I'm doing, so again, if you don't, it doesn't matter how good you do, how good you and proficient you are afterward. If your race is not changed, it means nothing.
It doesn't mean jack.
It means nothing, and this is what I've been trying to convince people, and I've shown people and given them the evidence that you got to let go of black and African American. Furthermore, African American is a patented meat and processed food on file with the U.S. Patent and Trade Office. So when a black person says they're black or African American, they're putting out that frequency that they're food.
Oh wow!
It's right there.
Property.
It's right there in the language. Black in Old Anglo-Saxon language means what? Means pale, glisten, bright, shining, pallid, wan. That's what black means. French is blanc. Spanish is blanco. So it all has to do with what? Paleness.
Okay.
So having a UCC and try to do an offset, no, you might as well stop because you're not going to go further in that. They're going to know that as soon as they look at that, they're going to know you have to change your race and ethnicity. And now, because of what happened with COVID, now I'm screening people for those who took the jab, and now I got a remedy of them being able to dissolve the nanobots and the nanoparticles that are in their body using the nicotine patches. So we're scanning people.
You know what?
Go ahead.
You have access to that?
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't take the jab, but I know of people that did.
Yeah, and we've done that. I found that out about 2 months ago. And that nicotine dissolves, the nicotine patches dissolves the it dissolves the nanoparticles, the nanobots. There was a Dr. Ardis, Ardis, he's the one who discovered this because there were researchers in Spain who got the jab, what they call a vaccine, which it wasn't. It was an experimental liquid computer operating system that people were injecting into their bodies. They put it on a slide and let it dry out and looked at it and saw that all these machines were building structures. Then they went and got a nicotine organic tobacco, not cigarettes, tobacco. And they steeped it in hot water for 10 minutes and then got a dropper and dropped it on the slide and saw that the nicotine dissolved the nanobots.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what people who have the jab have to do. We weren't accepting anybody who took the jab to come on our on my webinar. I said, nope. You find a remedy. Let us see what your D-dimer test is. And if you're not clotting microscopically, then you can do it, because the danger is those people who took the jab are going to be remote controlled.
Wow.
That's what the 5G towers were for. So now they can control people like a child or a teenager or a gamer plays video games.
Wow.
They ain't got to.
And they can't do without those things, because the system is trained based on those nanobots, like you said.
Yeah, but we got the remedy. So now that I got the remedy, now I'm allowing people who took the jab to come on and change their race and ethnicity, and they can also do declarations of fraud, because you can't cite genocide. No black person or African American or person of color, visible minority can scream human rights or genocide, because they don't have standing at law. They know that internationally.
Internationally, just imagine that.
They know that internationally. They can
because
they can treated because they don't have standing at law. They don't want to accept it. The media puts out the propaganda, we're all equal under the law. If that's the case, then Dred Scott would have been overturned. Guys who are talking about higher language of quantum or quantum parse syntax like Russell J. Gould and them, those guys won't answer my question in their own technology. When I asked them the question, I said, for the word of the black is with the no hyphen standing at the law. What does that mean? They stay silent. I said, yeah, you know why you stay silent? Because you're supposed to tell the black people, here, you can't do this technology until you change your race and ethnicity, because why? You have no standing at law. So we can't even contract with you. So that's why Russell J. Gould is in a spot. Mark Keyshawn Richardson, he was MI5 or MI6 anyway. He's doing 7 years in jail over in the United Kingdom.
Wow.
So I'm the only one on the planet that can go up against any black intellectual, any commercial person, all of them. I can go up against all of them, because the foundation is, before you build something, you have to have what? A blueprint.
Okay.
Or a business plan. Or some type of goals, correct?
Correct.
So, African Americans know they've been mistreated. The world knows they've been mistreated. Why aren't the other races trying to help you all? Because there will be a financial, monumental, talking like Mount Everest or Himalayan monumental consequence for that. That means the whole planet has to come back to me. That has to come back to people that are white like me, because we are the original owners of the planet, and the only one who can put that out is someone that has standing at law and has claims. I have that. I claim the British throne. I put a lien on the White House and the state of Georgia. That's infinite. There's no lapse date on it. As long as the United States of America is in existence, Atsakata Nation of Yamasee Moors is in existence. As long as the state of Georgia is in existence, the claim is there. They ain't paid it. Doesn't matter. It's coming to a head where if they don't pay it one way, nature will punish them in another way, which will cost them more money.
It will cost them more. Okay.
So you have to get white. That is the only remedy. That's the solution. There is nothing else for black people, people of African descent out here. There's nothing else for them. They don't have a solution. Not Cornel West, not what's his name, the author who wrote the book First Americans Were Africans, Dr. David Imhotep, not Jaguar Wright, not Charleston White, right? None of these guys.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm getting rappers calling me from New Orleans saying all the rappers in New Orleans is watching my videos. Now that I'm hearing what's his name? Malik Yoba say he doesn't consider himself black. Jaheim said he doesn't consider himself African American. Waka Flocka says he's not African American. Bow Wow says he's white and American Indian. I know them guys are watching my videos.
Okay.
Tiffany Haddish said she's a white woman on paper. We play her videos and show that Tiffany Haddish, that's the key. In this world, the way they have this planet set up commercially, you better get white. You don't gonna have nothing else.
You gotta get white.
That's it. You got to get white. There's no black person on the planet that can defend black. Not Nikki Giovanni. Not the black fraternities and sororities, not the historical black colleges and universities. I've challenged all of them. Not Professor Griff, not who's the other one? Neil deGrasse Tyson. All them guys say African American like they're saying something intelligent, and I'm like, no, you saying a slave brand. It's a patented meat and processed food. Why would you call yourself a patented meat and processed food? You sending the signal out that you're food for somebody, and if the Dracos, well, I'm full right now, but I'll put you in the fridge. Okay, I remember you said you African American. Good. Next time I need a snack, I'm gonna come to you. I'm gonna come to your door. Broad daylight. This is not hidden.
Wow.
So you have to come on my webinar. I'm the only one that's doing it. All the other stuff these guys are talking about, Polite and Taj Tariq Bey and Young Pharaoh and Nature Boy, all of them guys are forgetting the one thing. Anything that exists on this plane has to have a mental blueprint. The mental blueprint for black is a slave brand. So the contract is we can mistreat you, ignore you, have no consideration for your feelings. We can do all of that because you chose that. For white, a person having origins in any of the original peoples of Europe, the Middle East, or North Africa, and the CDC and the NIH, all of them are honoring that, and the census says we collect racial data based on self-identification. You can self-identify as white, and you have the right to be white. Black has no standing at law.
Oh my goodness. I've never heard that before, bro.
Well, you heard it now, and that's why you're not going to hear it, because I'm not mainstream. I'm like Matrix level to the point where I'm invisible. People that's on a lower resonance cycle and sound cycle, they're not gonna see this. The Egyptologists, I get on them. I get on the New Agers. Same thing. When people want to talk about the word love, I always say, okay, where's the love for black people? There is no love for black people because black has no standing at love.
No matter where you go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the only ones that can change the perception of you is you by claiming white. They never expected ever somebody who's dark skinned would claim the word white as an identity, as an ethnicity, as a race.
That is a surprise, yeah.
That's strategic. You're fighting. There's a book called Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars. And, you see black people doing videos talking about we're at war. Yeah, this is what happens. This is war. And in war, they already know who the enemy is. The enemy is black or African American, visible minority, person of color. So you can't accept that. You can't adopt that. That's your target.
Wow. Because even in the meeting that they had the other day with Trump, the 5 of the African nation presidents, treat them like crap.
Yes.
Don't care. No respect.
Black is considered what? Dead in the eyes of the law. So as far as the other races are concerned, they're dealing with dead people.
People. Wow. So it doesn't matter what you know or what it's just, they have a choice. They could let it slide a little bit if you know too much, or
yes,
or they could just friggin' outright lamb you
yes,
and not care.
yes. So now that I've given you the solution is to get white, what should you be doing?
Figuring out how to do that. I mean, how do I change?
That means you come on my webinar. We're starting back on the 21st of July, which is a Monday.
Okay.
So in the meantime, what you do is you give me your email, and I will forward you my YouTube channel and my BitChute channel. You could start watching my videos.
Okay.
Because a lot of the information is there. That's where you're at, and I honor that. Now the next problem, because everybody's into AI, computer intelligence, AI assistant. Now I'm talking E1B1A and E1B1B. That's where we're at. We're getting into genes now. So any person who calls himself African American, they can't stay with that, because the way that they have codified genetics and genes is they've numbered it called E1B1A and E1B1B, and they've already confirmed that 60% of African Americans have the E1B1A or E1B1B and have the genes of Ramesses the Third, which is Egypt, which is in Africa. So they say. So the African Americans, how do these African Americans have the genes of an Egyptian pharaoh in America?
Because America used to be Africa.
And America was Egypt. Agreed. Agreed. So therefore, when you go to a museum, they say these are the ancient Egyptians: King Tut, Nefertiti, right? Queen T, Seti, or Ramesses II, Amenemhet. Those are all niggers. So if they say at a museum, these are the ancient Egyptians, to give you the impression when you walk into the museum, that's only where they exist, because that's what the word museum means. Museum is dealing with dead people.
Okay.
That's why it's called a museum. Everything in a museum is what? Dead.
Dead, yeah.
So you're going into an environment talking about people who are dead. Yet the people who are the objects and the artifacts in there resemble you. So guess what that means? You have to claim now. You have to claim white, because white is defined as a person having origins in any of the original peoples of Europe, the Middle East, or North Africa. And Europe is named after an Ethiopian princess. The Middle East is Northeast Africa. There's videos out now where people who are from Syria saying the original Syrians were niggers. So the Middle Eastern image that you see, the sand nigger image, they're not the originals. You see,
came after us.
They came after, and that truth is coming out. And then, of course, North Africa, Ethiopia, Somalia, Morocco, Ghana, Nigeria, etc. So that means white people, the real white people, are niggers. And this is the U.S. government's definition. The CDC's definition. Hold on one second, please. Greetings.
Yeah, I'm here.
Greetings. So this is where it's at. So you have to get white. There's going to be changes. You're going to have to start looking at people critically. If they want to stay black, fine. You don't have to have any part of that. However, you're going to have to do your best to keep that separate, because black people bring problems.
Right.
That's a fact. So when you see, like I said, when all the cases I mentioned of well-to-do billionaires who are black who can't win a court case, that tells you something.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They got money, but they don't have the power. They don't have the influence to that degree.
I.E. Diddy. Yeah.
Well, Diddy is a government agent, so this doesn't him getting he probably they're probably going to either give him time served or probably some probation. They said they're not going to release him. They're going to hold him. Was last I saw. I think his sentencing is in October. So
Yeah.
they're probably going to hold him there, maybe put him on some probation because they're basically send him a message. Now that's one dimension. Another dimension, people are saying that ain't even him. That's a clone. That they just put a clone in there to catch the heat. Meanwhile, he's someplace else. And there's a actual advertisement of Puff Daddy going back at some event saying, "Oh, they found out," and then you got about 50 Puff Daddies backstage.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's a TV commercial. If you look for it on YouTube, you'll find it, where they said Puff Daddy was cloned in a TV commercial, but we know better.
Wow.
Just like now the government is saying there's no Epstein files. He didn't have a client list. He didn't. Hold on, you told us you had the thing sitting on your desk. Now you're saying there was no list, there was no client list, there was nothing. Like what? Now they're trying to gaslight the public, right? They said if that's the case, if that's the case, why is Ghislaine Maxwell in jail then? She was Epstein's ABC. He was her bottom bitch. His bottom bitch. But she's locked up.
There's no list. You're right. Why is she still in jail?
Why is she in jail for? Because she was connected to Epstein.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So again, a lot of what's happening in the world, those type of things, that can be changed by claiming white. Because the system has to reset now. Because this now is a defect from a technology standpoint. And what's the defect? The defect is that in computer language, black, which is associated with a dark color, is equivalent to hashtag 6 zeros, and 0 has no value. White in computer code is codified at hashtag 6 Fs, and it's associated with paleness. It's called white and associated with a pale color.
Mm.
That has to be changed and switched around. If it's not changed or switched around, that is an error, which I've challenged all the computers and every supercomputer on the planet to fix it now. Because now I brought the problem. Can you guys solve this? If you can't solve this, then you're pushing pale supremacy. And I've had Soul AI admit in front of witnesses that it is with me and agrees that all the programming on the planet pertaining to those colors has to be changed around and recoded. That's more money than what's on the entire planet. They got to change everything. Textbooks, school books, TV shows. They got to change videos. They got to change all of it.
Wow.
So this is why. Go ahead.
No. As you were speaking, I put in how do you change your ethnicity and AI, ChatGPT.
What? Oh, you got. Oh, so you're using your ChatGPT right now?
Yeah.
Good. Ask the ChatGPT, who is Chief Nanya Shabuel right now?
Who is Chief?
And that's Nany is the first.
Nany.
Yeah. Then Shabu, Shaabu. And my last appellation is EIL.
EIL?
Correct. Make sure you put a question mark afterward.
Yeah, I did.
And tell me what it tells you.
Okay. It appears that Chief Anu Shabuel, also spelled Nanya Shabu Baba, is a contemporary figure who identifies as a leader, specifically the Meku Chief of the Sikh nation of the Yemeni Moors, and has presented himself in various public and digital platforms. And who is he and what he's known for? Leadership role listed on LinkedIn as based in Canada. And then it said public engagement. He has spoken at events such as titled Potential of Earth.
Yeah, that's plenipotentiary.
Yeah, of Earth, and maintain a presence online, including a YouTube channel, digital collectibles, active in the NFT space with a profile on OpenSeas, identify as chief, magister in right of the United Kingdom and Commonwealth and the planet called Earth. Okay, and then he goes down. It says self-style leadership, public persona, digital identity, and then it has some stuff after that. Then it says key insight, the Yemeni Moors and the Atsi Hatta nations are not widely recognized tribal nations within official indigenous affairs content. Its primary platform seems to be self-representation through LinkedIn, YouTube, and NFT. There is no indication of official recognition by indigenous governance body or acknowledgement from
anthropological. And we know that's a lie because my CV shows all of what I've done and the recognition and the letters I've got. Continue though. I just want to hear what your ChatGPT is saying.
Yeah. Takeaway. Chief Nani Sabu appears to be a self-proclaimed or symbolic leader representing a non-mainstream group, the Yemeni Moors, and focusing on public-facing activity rather than verified tribal authorities. Its presence is particularly visible in online spaces, social media, YouTube, and NFT. Would you like help verifying the legal or community recognition of the Yemeni Moors, or exploring the background or legitimacy of the identity? What would be a good question? What race is he or something to that? What's another good question?
Another good question is, has Chief Nanyat Ale claimed the British throne?
Okay. Okay. Claim the British throne. Spell throne.
THRONE.
Okay. Okay. Question mark. Okay, yes. They came straight out with it. They said yes. Chief has publicly declared an active claim to the British throne. Wow. Okay. Several online posted, including a planetary notice of active claim, say that he has claimed the British throne and crown, styling himself as
autochthon.
Autochthon, yeah.
Autochthonous, yeah, probably autochthonous. Go ahead.
Yeah, chief. That word,
plenipotentiary. Go ahead, plenipotentiary.
Plenipotentiary, manager in right of the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth and Earth. His SoundCloud page even include an audio track titled "Planetary Claim British Throne Mono," confirming his assertion. In his writing, he asserted that Queen Elizabeth II effectively abdicated by not wearing the crown on October 16, 2019, which he considers the basis of activate his claim. Wow.
So you might want to screenshot that and share that.
Okay.
So when the computer, because I didn't like the first response that it gave you, oh, he's not recognized, but then it turned around here and says yes.
Yes.
That totally knocks.
It said yes.
Go ahead.
That question. Okay, so contents and legitimacy. They are self-declared claims shared across his digital platform, website, email, NFT, and audio recordings. There appears to be no official recognition from British Crown, Parliament, or international legal bodies validating these claims. The claims reference concepts like the Testificate v. Trust Act of 1707 and royal assent from Elizabeth II, but all evidence originates from L's own documentations rather than independent sources.
Okay. Yeah, that's a lie. That's a lie too, because I have a statement of claim, a UCC 5. That was
okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. So the summary, it says, yes, Chief Nani Sabu L claims the British throne, but these claims are entirely symbolic and personal, not supported by any recognized authority. I know that's a lie because I'm sure you did what you need to do. And if your life, I can help trace any legal traction his claims have had or explain how succession works in the UK monarchy. Should I say yes?
What did it ask you? It could track what?
It said, if you like, I can help trace any legal traction his claims have had or explain how succession works in the UK monarchy.
Type in his UCC 5 statement of claim.
UCC
-5. Yeah, UCC-5 statement of claim.
Statement of claim.
5/25/2012.
2012?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
What did it say?
Yes, it's a yes. It's a yes. Chief Nani Shabu PL has indeed filed a UCC 5 statement of claim on May 25, 2012, asserting his claim to the British throne and crown. What it is, a UCC 5 statement of claim is a public filing under the Uniform Commercial Code used primarily in the United States to make a formal notice of claim or claim. Chief submitted one on May 25th, 2012, directly asserting his claim to the British throne and crown. Okay? So they have that on file then.
Okay, so go ahead.
So it says additional contents, UCC file, statement of claim, UCC file, statement of claim, facts to Steve, Adair, QC, fiduciary trustee. That's April 25th, 2025. Related legal notice. Okay. So it says he also followed up with the UCC 1 filing, May 11, 2013 amendment, expanding on his legal declaration. These filings have been minted as NFTs and shared publicly on platforms like OpenSea, highlighting their symbolic and performative nature. And then it comes to takeaway. It says the UCC filing is symbolic, self-initiated declaration, part of a broader set of notices and claims, including planetary and throne assertion. It carries no legal standing in UK law or recognized lineage. The UCC is the United States. In the United States, does not enable someone to become heir to the British crown.
No, they can say that, and that's the thing with the computers, because they don't know about that 1537 Supplement Deus. They don't know about Clark McClellan admitting, and this is a NASA astronaut admitted that the blacks, quote unquote, are the original owners of the planet. He said that.
Yeah.
So
that's amazing, bro.
So a Smoony. So this is again proof. You're seeing it on your own ChatGPT, so you can go further and start asking even more detailed questions. Right? So you see, because one minute it's saying, oh, it's speculative, and yes, he's done this. Yes, that's done. I'm like, okay, then. So what's going on? It's going to affect it is affecting this entire system because they live by UCC. That was Jordan Maxwell. Jordan Maxwell is the one that said the Uniform Commercial Code is the highest code on the planet. He don't talk about race or ethnicity because he's not concerned with black people. When they talk, they're talking about Amorites. He's not talking about everybody, because if he did, he was supposed to tell black people they got to change their standing. Same thing with him, Gene Keating, Winston Shrout, right? Barton Butts and the rest of those guys. They don't do that. Why? Because the land is not theirs. The planet is not theirs. That's why. If they tell you, now you have an advantage way beyond what they had over you. They don't exist. They are the black people, because black means pale. So, if black people can accept that they're not black, and again, sometimes you got to speak with them in a language they understand. Are you pale? They'll say, no, I'm not pale. That's what the word means. It's also an adjective. Adjective describes something. Nouns are persons, places, and things. Black people are not nouns. They are adjectives. People, you can't put an adjective and hyphenate it with people, because it will still take on the characteristic of an adjective. Person, place, and thing. So all those people who are into quantum, parse, syntax, grammar, and all that, even the black people, I hit them off. They don't say nothing. They stay completely silent. I said, what's up with, what's his name? Russell J. Gould. Again, I gave them that. I put the race and ethnicity, put it in the quantum. They ain't said anything. He didn't even know about the SF-181 form. He had no clue about it. He didn't know which department handled it. And I'm like, how do you not know this? Because it's not about helping everybody. That's why I said all the races, if they really cared about black people, they would tell them the truth that they are white in commerce. Are they doing that?
No, you would never hear that.
So therefore, there's no love. Right?
Yeah.
How you gonna have? How's your homeboy? If your homeboy's an Amorite there in Georgia, and you and him hang out, drink together, hang out, go to parties and stuff, and this whole time he know that he's the black man and you the white man, he ain't gonna tell you that. Then you find out from somebody else that's the case, and you confront him about it. He admits it at that point. What's your thoughts then? How do you feel?
Right. You can't really you can't battle that.
No. I'm saying if your homeboy was an Amorite but and knew what I told you but didn't tell you. Now I'm telling you. Now you go back to your homeboy and say, "Did you know I'm actually white and you're black?" And he says, "Yes." How do you feel then?
Oh, then you feel betrayed because
No, not you. How do you feel? How would you feel?
How would I feel that I found out that he knew this all this time?
Yes. You know him for 20 years.
And he never said anything.
But when you confront him about it, he admits it. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, that made me feel bad. I mean, like, why didn't you tell me this shit before?
And then what does he? And then he says, "Well, that's something that you had to do."
That's something that you have to find out on your own.
Yes.
I mean, wow. But how are you ever going to find out on your own if
because
somebody has to bring it to your attention at some point?
Because what's one of the maxims of law? If you steal something from somebody, you got to give it back, right?
Yeah.
That means if he's got a house and a car, he got to give it back, right?
Right.
Because that's called proceeds of what? Theft, correct?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Living off the avails. They'll do seizure. They do that to people all the time that they commit a crime. They say, okay, you got this boat, you got all this stuff because you did the crime. Then what do? They say, we're going to seize everything. They'll call it civil forfeiture. You got to give all that up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So imagine all the rich Amorites there in Atlanta, in Georgia, in South Carolina, in North Carolina, in Florida, that live in big mansions, big houses, and now they're being told they got to give that stuff up now.
They're not trying to hear that.
Okay, that's when they're going to start pulling out the heat.
Right.
And that's what they'll say, over my dead body. Right? But meanwhile, you have black people that will steal a chocolate bar and get 20 years for a chocolate bar.
Amazing, yeah.
While those people are ripping people off financially, commercially, through real estate, scamming people, and nothing happened to them.
You buy a car, you sign it, it's supposedly supposed to be paid. But it's,
yes.
They charge you again and then add interest.
Yes.
Wow.
So, I am the white one. Nobody gets white but by me. Nobody. You have to come through me. Because I'm going to teach you properly. I'm going to guide you correctly. And then you're going to realize, yes, this is a guide. Like I've told people, if you ever went on a safari in Africa or South America, what's the first thing the hunters do when they get there and get settled? They find out a guide. They get a guide.
Right. The guide them the right way.
Because they might be the best sharpshooter in the world. They don't know the environment. They don't know the terrain. They don't know how the cycles of the forest or the rainforest or whatever. They don't know how things move. So they need a guide to get them in and then get them out safely.
Right.
I am the guide.
Okay.
I am the guide. It's non-negotiable. I'm going to show how people you get in there because you're swimming in a tank with some aquatic predators. And you got to know how to move so as not to draw attention to yourself to be potentially eaten.
Gotcha.
Black people are chum. Black people are chum in the water.
Mm.
So we're starting back on the 21st. Give me your email. I'll add you to the list.
Yeah, I'm shoot you my email and I'll let you in.
And in the interim, what I'll do is I'll send you information on because I'm still screening. I'm screening everybody for the webinar because people who, if they took the jab, now the people who took the jab can come on now. If you had to do the PCR test, then you have to do a declaration of fraud because the PCR test is another way of them getting the nanoparticles on the tip of the Q-tip and getting onto your pineal gland. And so that right there is fraud. You can't do anything. Again, being black, you get white. However, now that we're screening, you'll be able to do a declaration of fraud. So when you become white and you get to that step, you'll be able to potentially keep options open, whether to sue, whether to file for claims, stuff of that nature.
Okay.
Anything else?
Okay. No, man, there's a lot to unpack because out of all of the YouTube and social medias or what have you, and reading, I haven't come across this explanation as to, first step, this is what needs to happen. I've known of nationality and stuff like that. They say you got to change your nationality to nationals and those type of stuff. But, this is the first time I've heard this.
Yeah,
I must say.
Yes, and you're indigenous. This is the problem. If you call yourself something your ancestors were not, you're not entitled to any claims or any connection to the land. This is why the people who call themselves American Indians, they're in pressure now because we got Chinese guys, young guys from that have a podcast. They're busting on the American Indians saying, y'all ain't from here. Y'all are from the Red Deer Caves in China. You are people. You guys just migrated here. They're busting them up. So all the people who call themselves First Nations, Métis, American Indian, Native Americans say they're Red Indians. There's no such thing as a Red Indian. Never existed. That was the letters from Professor Rafinesque back in 1828. The only time they were red was because they wore paint. Other than that, they were Negroes. Dark skin, thick lips, broad nose, curly hair, looking ugly, crisp. That's ugly was his words. So they know niggers was here before. These people who are American Indian came afterward. They're not the original. They're not the. That's why some of the artifacts like the Olmecs, they can't explain that because they never built it. Some of the temples, the solar temples, they never built them. They go there and do offerings, and then even in their own oral tradition, they know that we were here first. They know this, but the problem is they're getting a check from the U.S. government. So which is better, get a check from the government or go work?
Oh, right. Yeah. So that's
with Trump scooping people up, and I've heard some American Indians have been scooped up in some of the raids. I said, yeah, this is why we do publishing, so there's no guesswork. We're out there as to who we are. It's no surprise. But if people only publish for entertainment purposes and not state who they are, somebody looks at their site can make that what do they call it? That assumption or presumption that they are African American, therefore they're black, therefore they have no standing in law, patented meat, processed food. So you come on my webinar and I'll show you how to do it. The people you know who took the jab, you can tell them to get in touch with me if they're interested about changing their race and ethnicity.
Okay.
All right. So I'll look forward to your email. I'll send you the links from my YouTube channel and my BitChute channel. And then you can start watching those videos.
Okay. I'll do that.
And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me.
All right. Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate you. All white. White power.
White power. Okay.